Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Indie Creative Comics Podcast, where we are all about independent comics. I'm one of your hosts, Angel, with John Pepe.
How's it going, Angel?
It's hanging and going. Fuck, man, we're back to horrible weather again. I mean, it was 65 today, but it's fucking raining.
I hate it. My allergies hate it. My soul hates it.
Yeah, it was all right. Just you know what? I'll take the rain over the snow any day.
Dude, there's parts of this country are getting pummeled right now. I think the storm is in Virginia today, and I think we're gonna miss it. Thankfully, knock on wood.
I'm hoping. I'm done with it. Well, I mean, we're gonna have showers throughout the next couple of times. I just want it to get a little bit warmer,
exactly,
stuff like that. But it's all good. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Indie Creative Comics Podcast. This is the Indie Comic Review stuff. So we've got episode 186. Dude, we're getting so close to 200. Wait till we what is it? Not the bicentennial. Yeah, it would be the bicentennial.
Yeah,
for 200.
Yeah,
we're getting close to America's age of 250.
250, yeah.
It'll be cool. So yeah, so we do have a couple of books. No real news. I mean, if you saw the Oscars, you saw the Oscars. I didn't. Bunch of people won. I thought Michael B. Jordan won.
Bunch of people won. Actor. Even more people lost.
Yes, even more. I think there's more people that lost than won. But Michael B. Jordan, bro, for Sinners. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. Yeah. Joseph, I think Virginia is supposed to be today. I know Wisconsin got slammed overnight. Yeah, we also talk about the weather on the Indie Creative Comics.
Yes, we do.
Podcast.
But we also saw that there's supposed to be some incoming storm too, which has more snow coming behind it, and I'm just like, I'm trying to ignore it 100%.
Yeah, I know.
Off of that. So, yeah, screw that. All right, guys. So we're gonna hop right into it this week. We don't have any news announcements, other than I thank you guys for supporting Project Shadowbreed. I think we have just under 2 weeks for the issue 1-2. If you guys want the combo. Over at projectshadowbreed.com. You can definitely check that out.
So close,
yeah,
right?
We're so close. I think at 85% or something like that.
Woo!
So cool.
Nice.
We're getting there. All right, so we do have a couple of books for you this week. I think, John, because you have two and I have one, we'll get you to start off. So which one do you want to start off with?
Very good. I will start off with one from the old reliable Ignition Press.
Ignition
Press.
Press.
Called The Other Half. This is written by Jim McCann. Illustrated by Joe Eisma, colored by Peter Petazes, lettered by AndWorld Design, and edited by Maggie Howell, assisted by Nora Ornstein. Book and logos design Scott Newman, and of course this is creator owned, so it is created has creator credit for Jim McCann and Joe Eisma. So this is a really neat thing. Okay, so remember The Odd Couple, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now. Think of The Odd Couple, except they're actually gay and they're actually married to each other. They're not two divorced men thrown together. They are very much in love. One is a schlubby, lower class private investigator, private detective, right?
Right.
And it looks like he might have actually had some legitimate police work in the past, but presently he is a private investigator. Investigating affairs and the like, right? And his partner is a high class, very Felix Unger or Niles Crane type, only the best for this guy, used to just living with tons of money and all that. And they are the kind of couple where they go on stakeouts together, and he's got Henry, the private detective, has his coffee. The Ethan, his partner, has an espresso martini, right, on a stakeout. So that's sort of like where.
Wait, are they both PIs?
No. So Ethan, part of this is that what you find out is Ethan has been cut off from his trust fund by his parents.
Gotcha.
Because they do not approve of his lifestyle. And so he is now working at a sort of this auction house, and through their friend Virginia, who has this high class society party. She runs this museum of gems and antiquities. She has just gotten a big donation, this giant diamond that they call the Nobility Diamond. And it's funny because that is sort of a theme for the week. Let me show this really quick. Look, big splash page for the diamond. That's how important it is. See,
Wow.
yeah, it's because it's a heist book, right? So, so he is now hired to work for their friend Virginia's museum to be the head of security for this diamond while it is there, and his partner Henry, the private investigator, is also hired to test the security system to make sure to make sure that that their system is foolproof. So yeah, so Ethan has been cut off from all of his high society money, and this is what I think is the twist or the hook to this that I would like to see, because he still runs in those circles. He still has all those friends. It's only his parents that are upset with him, and it is intimated in the scene where they encounter each other at this big gala party that the parents disapprove because he's gay. I think the twist, the hook here is that no, the parents disapprove of him because the guy he chose wasn't one of them, wasn't high class, right?
Yeah,
I think
gotcha.
that because that's where a lot of humor is coming from. It's a very, oh, you're so low class, Henry. Oh, you're so high class, Ethan, with your martini on a stakeout. That's the kind of gag, right? So, so they test out the security system. It all seems to run to plan. And then after they test everything, boom, it gets stolen in the middle of the night. And so now Ethan, being the last one there and having the keys and the codes, is now a suspect in this crime, or a person of interest, because he is questioned and then released. And now they have to so this is the hook, right? This is why it's the high class low class thing, and this is why partly why they're going with this archetype of the gay couple, because it could easily play as a man and a woman, except for this is the twist. Now Ethan has to go slumming it and go like a schlub with the dirty trench coat in and deal with all of Henry's seedy contacts in the underworld that, to get information about who might have stolen this diamond. And now Henry has to wear the fancy clothes and go in high society to see if anybody in high society. And it's the logic is, well, we have to switch because everyone in high society now thinks you stole the diamond and all that. Yeah. So and I think the heist deal is just, it's such a MacGuffin. It's such a thing to get you to the situational comedy of high class guy has to go live low class guy has to pass for high class society. Yes. And that's really what this book is going to be. I'm guessing it's a mini series. Ignition doesn't really indicate. And I think some of that is trial run, right? Like, let's see how much gas this has, and if we're going to give it a mini or an ongoing. But this definitely feels like an ongoing. It's really cute. I like the art style. It reminds me a lot of the DC Tomorrowverse, right? Which I kind of enjoyed because of the thick lines. It's got a weird blue gray wash background over everything, just like those animated movies. But I enjoyed it. It was really cute. I think again, this is like, if you like, it reminds me of the Birdcage a little bit, but maybe not as exploitive. With Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, that sort of dynamic as well. This is going to be a really good, fun TV miniseries someday.
Yeah. I think we've had a couple on that trope already. I was thinking of Balky and his cousin, Perfect Strangers.
Very much. Yeah. The sort of, that clash of cultures. Yeah. So it's fun. It's, again, if you, it is sort of.
I can see it as an ongoing mini where like each 4 issues is a storyline of whatever's going on, but it's gonna be PI driven. Yeah, because they're gonna always have to be searching for something, and his partner's gonna have to get hooked in somehow.
So it's really funny because Jamie Rich, editor in chief of Ignition, has a big write-up about this in the back. This is a story he's always kind of wanted to tell, in the sense that he's always been a fan of the Thin Man, those movies and the original novel and such. Nick and Nora Charles, if you don't know, operate in 1920s, 1930s high class society, but they're also private investigators and detectives. And the situation, is it's the man and the woman going and investigating crimes together, and how they comment on, their high society really just wears on their sleeve and things like that. So again, more for the interaction of the duo rather than the mystery. The mystery is sort of just like an add-on, right? So even since his DC days, he's been trying to like crack this, find a really good. He mentions he pitched a Ralph and Sue Dibney, Nick and Nora Charles type series for DC back in the day, and he could never quite get a writer to crack the code or crack it himself until Jim McCann comes with this pitch. He said, this guy figured it out. This is the thing. And so he says, so what I really envision now in the future is another story catching up, because again, these guys are a year into their relationship and marriage, so it's a real meet quick kind of thing, right? And get married really fast kind of thing. So their idiosyncrasies are still at play, right? So there's your Felix and Oscar thing, right? So they're still trying to get used to each other. So now, Jamie Rich is like the next step would flash forward several years where they're more comfortable with each other and their places in their mutual societies after this adventure, and see now how they would navigate really as like an in-sync duo. Gotcha. And I think that's a great aspirational thing for any sort of storytelling. So yeah, so you hit the nail on the head. I think that's the plan. Series of miniseries.
Yeah.
Little French. Yeah. A little bit. I get. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that as well. Nice cover image too. I almost picked it up, but I was like, nah, it wasn't quite my tea, but it's all good. All right. The other half from Ignition Press. Dude, they've been coming out with stuff. So good for them. Kudos to them for, being a brand new publisher and just getting out there. All right, cool. Mine, A Quiet Place, Storm Warning. So yes, if you're thinking about the movie, this is absolutely an adaptation of the movie. So A Quiet Place, this is from, is it Dark Horse? No, it's IDW Dark on there. So script and layouts of Phil Hester, pencils and inks by Ryan Kelly, colors by Lee Luridge, and letters by Nathan Wittick. So if you've seen the Quiet Place movies, I think there was only supposed to be one.
I'm very mad about this. But yes.
But this is from the horse's mouth, John Krasinski.
I know, and that's
what The thing about this book is there's no credit to him at all. So I don't know if this is a license they picked up or if they're allowed to do it or whatever it is. But there isn't any mention of him at all in it.
The thing I've noticed with the IDW is you have to kind of look for it. And for this Return to Sleepy Hollow, Twilight Zone, it's all inspired by. I've noticed that language being used there. So that's why they could skirt likenesses and things like that. Yeah.
No, because it says Paramount Pictures.
So like the smile.
Paramount Pictures.
So that's like smile for the camera then. So, and again, that's part of it, right? You're not necessarily, go on, because if they're using Krasinski's characters, then they're
using all of. I mean, the characters that they're using are the aliens. They're not using any of the characters that were in the movies because this is part of sort of like when it happened. So instead of getting one
workaround, that's the other workaround,
right? So instead of having one movie, we got 3 movies. You got part 1, part 2, and then you got 3, which is actually before part 1 and 2. It took you back to like the very beginning. This is sort of falls into that beginning stage of when the aliens came down. So you get a little bit of context there. And then if you've seen the movies, you'll pretty much know what they are. They're like these unstoppable tanks. They can't see. They go based off of sound. So whatever vibration sound is around them, that's how they hunt and stuff like that. So you're pretty much in this location, which is sort of like an island unto itself, somewhere, I believe, in the Midwest. It wasn't really specific, but it's called Pearl Island. You have a sister and a brother duo. The sister is the mayor. The brother is, I guess, the head of the fire chief or whatever it is. Really, really, really small town. They're just starting to get wind of, all of this alien stuff and landings and stuff like that, and what's been going on, sort of really far away from them. And they're kind of like planning on what they need to do in order to seclude themselves or to secure themselves. And basically, what the brother wants to do is blow up all the bridges because they're on an island. So that there's no way for them. Last he heard was that they can't swim. So if you're familiar with the movie, you get the aliens in there, and then you get sort of like this group of people on this island who don't agree at all. They're having this big town hall. They're like, hell no, you can't blow up the bridges, because then how are we going to get out? How are we going to get food in? All this stuff. So there is all this logistics talk, and it comes down to basically just them arguing and kicking him out, and then them realizing when they kicked him out that he may just go blow up the bridges himself. So what is he going to do? He's going to go blow up the bridges himself. And at the same time, we have sort of like this alien attack that happens at the very end. And the aliens actually come onto the island, start killing a whole bunch of people, and we see the mayor starting to escape with this one kid throughout. So basically, you're just getting another view of the Quiet Place story from this small town and how they're dealing with whatever's going on in the entire world. If you saw The Quiet Place, I have to tell you, if you've not seen it, see it. It is probably one of the most unnerving films to watch, because the moments of silence are so loud and so unnerving that when stuff happens with sound, it's almost like a release that you get to feel as well. You feel like you're holding your breath the entire time. There's silence, because if you make a sound, something bad is going to happen. And, you know, John Krasinski, everybody knows him from The Office. So you got this guy who played Jim, what was his last name? Halpert, that's right. Yeah. Jim Halpert for, was it 9 seasons? Just absolutely hysterical. And then sits down and writes this movie that's not comical at all, but just really, really well written. And, you know, you have these creatures who cannot see and go by sound, and one of his kids is deaf. So the fact that they can't tell whether or not they're making sound raises the stakes even more. And so if you like that movie, then you'll like this book. There's a lot of familiarity in it, especially with the aliens and sort of like the circumstances and what's at stake with people's lives and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool. It's definitely going to be a mini. I'm not sure how many issues it's going to be. It's just funny that there was no mention. There's not even a write-up at the end with the team that came up with the movie.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see whether or not they actually had to get approval, like final approval for him on like the alien monsters, because there isn't any character from the movies in it.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be any resemblance or likeness of the characters except for the alien itself.
Yeah. It's got to be something with the deal with Paramount, because again, it's like, you know, John Krasinski did create the whole Quiet Place series and concept, did the first 2 movies. And I think the idea is that, though, he did create it and sold it to Paramount, right? So Paramount owns it, so they can make sequels and things without trying. Same thing with Smile. You know, Tim Burton doesn't get a credit in Return to Sleepy Hollow, even though they're emulating within legal bounds his aesthetic, I guess. So I think that's the idea, is that these concepts are owned by Paramount. And so that's all they need. That's really all they need. It's not, you know, again, it's not creator owned. Like,
right, so he doesn't own it.
Indie film,
Gotcha.
Self-funded or whatever. Yeah,
that makes sense.
So I think that's the deal there. And it's another thing. It's interesting that a lot of IDW's licensed product titles, especially IDW Dark, are all Paramount properties. And so it's going to be interesting to see they're all miniseries right now, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens to those. It's almost like they're trying to get them all out before something happens, which we do know is going to happen. And probably in the next year, Paramount will own Warner Brothers Discovery. And so it's going to be interesting to see like what that does, not just here on the comic side of things across the board, but that's something that just came to me as we were talking about this. And you were absolutely right about the tension in the first movie.
But it's also interesting that the book is coming out after the movies have been out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, I mean, it's been 20 years since Sleepy Hollow, over 20 years since Sleepy Hollow. Smile is fairly recent. Twilight Zone is really inspired by the 50s show, not the current show by King of Horror comedian Jordan Peele. So I don't know. I think that's the. I think that it's interesting. I think again, it does feel like a license dump for me. Like to my spidey sense, it's
Right.
like, oh, we got to get this stuff done.
Yeah.
What do we have? What do we have? Right.
It's just for me, the timing is weird because I don't think we're getting another movie.
I haven't heard anything either. Yeah.
Yeah. So to get this book out, what would be the point? I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it's fine. I enjoy the story and stuff like that. But if there's not another movie that's coming down the pipe,
I think it's to get it out before we lose the license situation. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, guys, if you like the movie, check it out. IDW Dark, A Quiet Place, Storm Warning. I'm pretty sure it's about 5 issues.
Right. Yeah.
So
Quick thing. When I remember seeing the movie with my wife at one of those like fancy theaters where they serve you food and like the waiter comes to you, and we were so into the movie, and it was a very quiet part of the movie because the idea is, you can't make noise or else the aliens attack. And the way we start to hear the waiter whispering to the people and like the one next to the pod next to us or whatever. And I was like, shut up. You're going to get, oh, wait, right. We're watching the movie.
Yeah, it was great movies. And it's rare that like a sequel to the movie's better, if not just as good. Mm-hmm. And part 2 is just as good. So it's great. I mean, Emily Blunt, his wife, is just phenomenal. So.
Mm-hmm. And just Cillian Murphy being all creepy and
I thought that was crazy.
He's good.
Okay, one more. You're up.
Yeah, so this is from Dark Horse Comics with Dogu Publishing, which I believe is their imprint that really handles a lot of the Stan Sakai related stuff. So yeah, as you can tell from this cover image there, this is Usagi Yojimbo Kaito 84. And so really quick, I know of Usagi. I've never really invested any time in reading Usagi Yojimbo. Created by Stan Sakai, I think in the late 70s, early 80s. Really kind of hit that peak, with Ninja Turtles kind of breaking the door for a lot of the sort of anthropomorphic type of indie comics that were coming out.
And even in black and white.
Yep, in black and white. And even, and to this day, I think Stan Sakai mainly does stuff in black and white. I know there's been some recent stuff.
Except for the comic stuff. The comic stuff has been in color now.
Yeah. And it even did get folded into the Ninja Turtles franchise, definitely with the toy line. I don't know if he ever actually appeared in the cartoon. And I'm not really sure if there was ever any comic. There's definitely been a comic crossover, but I don't know if that was an isolated bottle thing or if that's actually in Ninja Turtle continuity, because the big thing about Usagi Yojimbo is that he exists in feudal Japan, right? And so I know there have been stuff, Space Usagi and other extrapolations that have been done by Stan. I don't know if there's been too much that haven't been done by Stan, but clearly if someone's doing this, Stan Sakai is endorsing it, right?
Right.
So this is written by Zach Rosenberg and illustrated and lettered by Jared Cullum. And of course, Stan does get the created by credit, and it's edited by Justin Eisinger. And so what's neat, I again, not really having read Usagi, but understanding the concept of Usagi, that basically Miramata Usagi, was a samurai in feudal Japan, and it was all basically samurai fare. But clearly, as you can see from that cover, he is a rabbit. So it's a very anthropomorphic situation. And very cool. Mr. Dumbledick stayed at Stan's house in Pasadena during spring break back in 2012. That's great. And his friend is Matt from college, who's Stan's dad. Oh, very cool, very cool. So I was like, okay, what are they doing? Are they going to, have, feudal Japan Usagi in the modern day, or, not really knowing what I was going into. So this is actually the descendant of classic Usagi, which I think is really cool. He is Kaito Usagi, and he's sort of a Robin Hood among the the people, the street level people in Japan, and he is a very known thief, and he gives all of his earnings to people lesser than him, or who need it more. He feels he's able to get by. However, the car doesn't start when they're trying to escape after doing a heist, right?
Mm.
So he's got to get out, fight the guys, and then push the car so they can get away, right? He takes care of his younger friend who is named Yu. You get a flashback on how that sort of relationship started. Yu was in school, was always getting bullied on, and so Kaito would kind of be his protector, and that continues to this day.
Cool. So it's them two.
So it's them two. That's your duo, right? And so basically Kaito is hired by a portion of the Japanese government. And here it is, it's heist week, right? So he is hired to break into this fortress and to steal this ancient spear, the Kintsugi spear. And it's like this impenetrable fortress that he's gotta try and break into, and he's got to steal that spear right in the middle there. And he will get a really nice car that works out of it. He'll get a lot of money, and Kaito is basically like, I'm not interested. I don't want to work for corrupt politicians. And then he says, yeah, but you know what? What about you? You know, how hard has it been taking care of him? This would give you enough to make sure he's okay, and then you can continue to do whatever you want to do, right? So this is now enticing and appealing to him. So he is now considering the deal. And that's sort of where you're at. That's a 5-issue series. They're going to put a team together, much like Ocean's 11, and so.
But it's the government that's hired him.
And the government has hired him to steal this because they got wind of another gang that's going to try and steal it. So basically the idea is the bait and switch. They're going to steal the real one, replace it with a fake, so that the gang steals the fake. Right.
I don't trust the government. So
right. So you and Kaito would have a lot in common. So it's a very interesting. It was really neat. One of the really cool things about this, as I was reading, was I really forgot they were animals. And I got really into the characters and just who they were and how they were portrayed, and the kinetic energy of the action sequences, but also like the real, human moments as well for these anthropomorphic characters. So that really worked. That really carried over well. One of the neat things is you actually get in the back, you get some concept designs for you and Kaito, right? And
now,
then
what's the relation to Usagi?
So he's actually, it's basically, he's just, like I said, his part of the bloodline. He is the descendant in Osaka, Japan.
So we don't know if it's like great grandfather.
Whatever, at that point. Yeah.
It'll be great.
You do get also, I love when they do this, you get pencils to finish.
Cool.
Yeah. The art is really cool because it's very much like a nice sort of like the Japanese brushwork, like a Peach Momoko or Yoshitake Amano, but it's a lot looser, and I kind of like that. The action sequences are great, Angel, because this reminds me of something that you always talk about. There's a lot of action sequences where a lot of the heavy beats happen in between panels. So kind of, let me see if I can get a good, the sequence I was telling you about before with the car, right? So here we are with the car doesn't start. Kaito is driving. Let's see how well you can see this. And you can kind of see like he opens the door, starts fighting a couple of the guys. And then you don't see, but you see the pile there, and then he's pushing the car, right?
Nice.
And then a nice little action beat there is, and it kind of gives a great example of who Kaito is, especially to the people, the street level people. There's a girl who's going to get run over accidentally by the bad guys in the car chase, right? And so Kaito runs and rescues her, pushes her out of the way. Cool. And the father is like, you saved my girl. He goes, it was my fault. It was our fault that there was this that she was in danger in the first place. So that's a really good character trait. That's a very good save the cat moment, so to speak. Right. Especially being like, it's my fault. So yeah, really fun. I think, like me, if you're new to the world of Usagi Yojimbo, but you're like, well, feudal Japan and there's so much Usagi, give this a shot because it does very much feel of that lineage. And I think it's really cool that they are expanding the balloon, at least in this direction. I don't know if it's the first time Kaito's ever appeared in anything, but it's really good introductory to this world. And again, it's got 1984 vibes. I went with the Jim Rugg. Good to see him back. Variant cover with the Miami Vice logo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Reminds me, actually, when I was a kid, one of my favorite sweatshirts I got was from the Dirt Mall in Nanuet, the indoor flea market. That was Miami Mice. And it was like two mice standing next to a car done up like Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas. So that cover reminded me of that.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. All right, before we go, I just have to let you know, dude, I just read the second issue of Ordained. And I wanted to be upset because the book was late. I don't know if it's supposed to be coming out bi-monthly, but no, it's been more than 2 months, right?
Oh, it's and it kept getting pushed back in favor of subsequent reprints of the first issue.
Yes, of the first issue,
which is really funny.
Fucking so, but if the first issue wasn't so good, I would have just left it. But picked up the second issue. I was grunting through it because it was that good, and I was like, God damn it! But from what I understand, issue 3 should be out in April, so it should be on time. And I think it's just
that would
issues.
be the end. Yep.
That would be the end. So I mean,
until
there's
the
still got a lot to cover
or prequel, right? Sure, right.
Yes.
No, I think it's gonna.
Really good. If you guys haven't read it, guys, it's From Bad Idea, Ordained. Just a really cool concept. Something I've not. I mean, we've seen the priest stuff, but it's been mostly within its own realm, kind of thing. If it's a priest, it's always about like religious stuff, fighting demons and stuff like that.
Right.
This is more about escapism, finding another life. And did you read it yet?
I haven't read 2 yet. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah.
So you get sort of like the origin of how and why he became a priest, which is pretty fucking cool. So I like reading stuff, and it's funny because I always go back and forth with comics are about escapism. It's about leaving reality behind and running into your imagination. And oftentimes when we do that, the brain will say, okay, I can believe a man can fly, but if you do something that's just so out of whack and out of not character but doesn't make any sense, then your sense of disbelief it gets suspended. Nope, that doesn't work. But yet this guy can fly. Yep, I could dig it, kind of thing. So there's a sense of it being grounded, but that it's not a real story, but it's grounded in reality, and the way that it's just written kind of takes you on that ride. So because it's not a superhero book, if anything, it's going to be sort of like a crime drama book. In some respects, it's
like I said, John Wick with vows and a
not even.
Really?
I mean, yeah. No, not even. Yeah. I mean, it would be. Yeah, I don't know. I just like it. If you haven't read it, fucking read it because it's fucking great.
I love the mob boss
out there.
I love the mob boss as a character, as a villain. It's great. The way he is, at least in the first issue, when he makes that miraculous recovery, and he's just ready to go.
Yes. Yeah. But there's parts of it that you can make it like really existential, right? So you've escaped this life to create this new life to help people, but that new life brings you back in the path of your old life. And so it's almost like you can't escape who you are always meant to be, kind of thing. So I'm reading this book and I'm just like, fuck. And I don't know if they wrote it that way or if the intent was there, but you can see those beats there of this guy just, getting to a place where he's just like, I thought I was doing the right thing in my life. This big fucked up thing happens and I walk away from that and have an opportunity to do something else. And then I'm doing the right thing. And all of a sudden I get pulled into the one thing that's going to bring me back to the life that I didn't want to be part of. So it's just really, whether it's intentional, if it's intentional, it's fucking genius. If it's a byproduct of what they wrote, it's still fucking genius because it's just great. So yes, I haven't read issue 2 of Dork yet. I want to read that. And then there's a couple other things. I do have 2 more books. I'm going to read through them today and then give you a copy.
Oh, cool.
Wait, who was that? I was a week late and they were giving me a cow. Oh, well, books, yeah, it's all good. But yeah, if you haven't read it, read it. Absolutely fantastic, Ordained. So we gave you 3 books for this week. You've got from Ignition Press, The Other Half, Bam Bam. You've got also from IDW Dark, A Quiet Place, Storm Warning. If you watch the movie, you'll fit right into this one. If you didn't watch the movie, there's still enough context in there where you understand what's going on, and that if that helps you go watch the movies, even better. Pick it up. Really cool stuff. And then, yeah, Kaito 84, which is out of the world of Usagi Yojimbo. Yeah, I've read a lot of his older stuff. I really, really liked it. I mean, it's anthropomorphic, but he's a fucking Ronin. So to me, that's what it was. It was just him walking around with his katana and his short sword and freaking just beating up all these hyenas and wolves kind of guys because they were just doing stupid stuff.
It's interesting that you did read that, because you don't gravitate towards anthropomorphic. Did you have that same? When you read Stan's stuff though, like did you have that same feeling I had, that you kind of just forget that they're animals after a while?
You do. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So like Good Boy as well was sort of like, but Good Boy's different because there were humans in it. As opposed to this where it's fully anthropomorphic. And I don't know what it is about anthropomorphic creatures that I just don't dig. I don't know, like the stuff that you read, like Feral and stuff like that, or Stray Dogs, that doesn't appeal to me because it's not action based. Those are horror based books,
right?
So I think if it's more like a John Wick kind of situation, or if it's like a badass samurai, I'm cool with it.
Right. So it's funny because for me, like what I like about Feral and Stray Dogs and what those guys are doing is that they are still acting like dogs and cats.
Right.
They're not picking up machine guns. They're not picking up swords. They're not doing anything out of that realm.
That makes it even worse.
See, I appreciate
animals are talking to each other.
But it's, again, animals talk to each other. Dogs bark at each other, cats meow at each other. There's language, right? There's language that is communicated with. It's just now like our friend AJ likes to say, it's like Star Wars. They're all speaking Aurebesh. It's just translated to English for our benefit, right?
Right.
So now, granted, I think with some of these, the longer you try and do that, the soap opera elements creep in. The clearly human behavior shows up inside of that, and that's a little, that again, that's a line, right?
Right.
It's a very fine line. Good Boy, like you said, works. It's because it's anthropomorphic animals living among actual humans, and so it's acknowledged and things like that. It and the Usagi stuff works because you forget that they're animals after a while, right? It's when it's like, I am a human animal hybrid and I do human animal hybrid things. It's that hybrid. I think that's too much of I don't think uncanny valley is the word, but it's too much of an intersect for me to really buy in. So there's a lot of creators that kind of have, that's their stock and trade. I don't really gravitate to that.
And it's when the characters acknowledge its self-awareness, they're just talking cat or whatever it is, that kind of takes me out of it. Where if the animals are just doing their thing. So if we look at Usagi, there isn't any you're a rabbit, you're a dog. They're just different animals that just interact with one another in this world. So, and they happen to just be chopped off with katana blades, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and like Feral and Stray, it's sort of like Incredible Journey, like that kind of stuff. Like where those animals, I think if we ever watched that when we were kids or whatever, like those animals do talk to each other, but they're just animals trying to get on their incredible journey.
I watched them, but I watched them really reluctantly because I just could not get into them. Actually, you know what? I think the only movie that I was actually really entertained, and I know we're going off on a tangent, we got to get out of here, is I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's not a recent animation, but more recent than others. Like American Tail. Oh my God.
Fievel.
No, I couldn't do it.
I know. Never a fan of that. Yeah.
Flushed Away. Have you ever seen it?
Never saw that one. No.
Oh, fuck. My daughter used to watch it on replay. Like, I don't know. It was just played for hours and hours a day. If you've not seen it, Anthropomorphic because it's just mice and shit living in the sewers. But really, really good. Ratatouille, but that's mixed in with humans. But Flushed Away, fully anthropomorphic. You got to watch it. It's really good.
It's funny. It works really well for me. Animation and comics. Live action, when they make animals talk, it's like Incredible Journey, like when they make the animals talk or whatever. Boy, that blows me out. I don't like that.
Well, I wish Benji would have talked. That would have been a good one. All right, guys. That brings us to the...
He did when he was Chevy Chase.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Heavenly Dog reference.
Oh,
Boom.
my
First of
God.
2026.
Yeah, that's how you're showing your age now.
First ever.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you like what you heard, just please subscribe to the podcast. Better yet, invite 100 of your closest friends. We're here every Monday live at 1 p.m. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, want to talk about yourself and your creation you got coming up, go to indiecreativecomics.com, fill out the podcast form. John and I would love to have you onto the show. We've had some really great guests over the past couple of weeks. So just go to the YouTube channel, check them out. We got Alex Brusher from Zenoscope. Last week, I think we had Owen Ratliff talking about Black Salt. And we went, dude, this is one of those things where, we talk about it all the time and stuff like that. But, Owen is branching out from comics into movies, into animation, into video games, into all these different spaces, and centered around a script that he wrote that wanted to make a comic and then move on from there. So it's really cool that he did that. So it doesn't have to be just the one medium, even though this is the medium that we're talking about. These creations can just span out to multiple mediums that are out there. All right, social media at Indie Creative Comics, all over the place. Feel free to follow us. We'll follow you. And last but not least, please support your local comic shops, because without them, we would not be able to do what we love to do. And I think next week, we'll probably start doing a countdown to Free Comic Book Day.
I've heard of it.
Because it's really, really close. We got one more week to the end of March. April starts, and then the first week of, or the first Saturday in May is Free Comic Book Day, which we're really looking forward to. You know what? Maybe we'll do a little breakdown on Monday, next Monday, of what Free Comic Book Day is, how long it's been around, and what's going to happen that's different this year. So, yeah, I think that'll be good. All right. Where do you get your books from, John?
Well, I get my comics at The Joker's Child in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Come on down to The Joker's Child. We got a lot of great stuff going on. Every week we get the new comics on the Wednesdays. We got to dig a lot of toys out of the toy attic. So definitely, if you see something there and you think you've seen it all, come back a week later. There's always a lot more stuff going on at The Joker's Child. If you can't make it to The Joker's Child, please use your Google search engine machine to find your local comic shop and patronize them. And definitely walk in and be like, hey, why are you guys more like The Joker's Child? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Buy comics at your local comic shop.
Yes, and patronize them, because we love to patronize people. All right, gang, until next time. We want to thank you for joining us on the Indie Creative Comics podcast, where we are all about independent comics.